Good evening. It is now 7 PM. I will call the Tuesday, August 19th, 2025 Board of Selectmen meeting to order. All three selectmen are present, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll make a motion that we approve the Board of Selectmen meeting minutes from August 5th, 2025.
Second.
All right, any discussion on those minutes?
Nope.
I think they look good.
All in favor of approving the minutes from Board of Selectmen's meeting from August 5th, 2025, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I'll make a motion that we approve the Board of Selectmen's special meeting minutes from August 13th, 2025.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on those minutes?
Nope.
All in favor of approving the minutes from the special meeting on August 13th, 2025, say aye.
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 Aye. We have the one piece of correspondence from Laura Kroll in regard to, I think it was sent to our email
Yes.
boxes from our animal control officer, Brianna. And I don't have any other correspondence at this time. Unless either of you have correspondence?
No.
Nope.
All right. We will open the floor to citizen comments, selectmen comments. Selectmen comments.
Budget passed. That's a good thing. Furloughs have been rescinded. Is that what you?
Staff has come back. Staff has all returned to work.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm grateful that the budget has passed. But I will say that as far as public works and construction projects, et cetera, we're gonna accomplish nothing this year. So we've lost a whole year. And that's the tragedy from the delay budget passing. At this point, still Joe is just basically finding jobs that don't cost too much money, and he's trying to not, there's been some equipment breakage, the compactor for the cardboard. Compaction, the motor for the compactor for cardboard broke down. He has some repairs on mowers, probably looking at about $15,000 to almost $20,000 in repairs off the bat. So, and nothing's been accomplished. So that's the only bad thing. But the guys are back, and Joe's keeping them busy with various tasks that don't cost too much money at this point. So, just a little bit longer.
Well, I'm sure he can do a lot of roadside mowing and different things of that nature to get caught.
Yep, for sure, for sure. So, but that's all I have for selectmen comments. Lots of great events coming up for the fall, Community Day, the Battle of Fairholme Farm, which is going to be taking place on the line of Woodstock and Thompson, Chandler School Road and Blash Road. That's going to be Columbus Day weekend coming up. We still have Putnam and Woodstock dedicated to being sponsors as well. I'm waiting to hear back a final definitive from Pomfret, but it's looking like we'll have a tri-town sponsorship in addition to Thompson. And it's looking like we should have a good 1 to 200 troops.
Wow, that's really
So,
cool. I'm
Yeah,
looking
for
forward to that.
reenactment, to the kickoff of America's 250. So super excited about that. And that's pretty much all I have.
I lost the thought.
Sorry.
Oh, school is starting next week, I
School
believe,
starts next
Wednesday,
week.
so. Hopefully people will respect the school buses. They're gonna be out there.
Yeah.
They're not gonna have their routes down pattern. There's gonna be delays, etc. Because the kids are just going back to school. And
Right.
of course, Labor Day is the first this year. It's the earliest it's been in,
It's the earliest it can be.
Can
a
you,
long time.
can you believe we're at less than 2 weeks away from Labor Day? That the summer has
yeah,
just
but being on
flown
the
by.
first is.
Yeah, it makes it, yeah,
Even
Strange.
flown by.
as well. So be careful with the school buses coming back home.
Good thing to note, Ken. Thank you for that. There's no other selectmen comments. We will move to citizen comments, and I will actually start with the virtual audience. Citizen comments from the virtual audience. Please feel free to unmute yourself, state your name and address for the record. Floor is open to you. Right, I'm not seeing any, so we will move to the room. Any citizen comments from people in the room? Yes.
Nicola Krasinski, Mountain Hill Road. I just wanted to say thank you. It's been a really hard budget season this time around. And the
Oh, you know
support-
what? Come closer to the mic. Sorry. Start all over.
Nicola Krasinski, Mountain Hill Road, North Rosendale. I just wanted to say thank you to all the selectmen for the help and the aid and doing what the town needed to keep us moving during this really difficult time. It was unlike any other year, unlike things in the past. But I appreciate all of what you guys did to keep the town going, even though it wasn't necessarily what all of us would have liked, but it was what was right for the town. So thanks for taking the brunt of all of the comments and the social media and keeping us all as a community as we should be. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nikki. Any other citizen comments in the room? Yes.
Stephen Wright, Management Director. Would you let us know what you need for the battle?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
We're meeting on Thursday, and I will put that out there. Anybody who wants to be a part of America's 250 events, we are meeting on Thursday at 7 p.m. here in the Merrill Sine Room. We'll be really honing in on the battle because that's just a couple months away. And then we're also meeting with the town of Putnam on September 3rd. So the committee's super active. Anybody's interested in participating, we need lots of volunteers, so, and money. We'll be starting that drive soon. Any other citizen comments at this time from either the room or the virtual audience? All right, I'm seeing none, so we will move on to agenda item 7. The Director of Planning and Development report from Tara Penn. Tara?
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. Yeah, so as you guys know, I'm not generally available on Tuesdays, but I do usually get this mid-August break from my regular schedule. So figure it's a good time to come in and give you guys some updates. I believe you, all three of the selectmen would have received the memo I sent over. But just for the sake of the live audience. Oh, I just froze up. Can you hear me? Well, I will continue and hopefully you guys can hear me. My screen is frozen.
Kira, we can hear you in the virtual audience anyway.
Okay, yeah, my screen just unfroze, so a little vamping was just enough time. Yeah, so for the sake really of the audience and the record, I won't read this verbatim. I'll just breeze through it, and then by all means, select board, stop me with any questions as I go or at the end or whatever. So everybody is generally interested in. Oh, we just lost the room entirely. Oh, there it is. It's back. Everybody is mostly interested in the grants. I'll go through them in the order that I presented them in the memo. With one caveat, the one I listed up front, I actually probably should have listed last because it's one that hasn't come in. It's one that's still out there and pending, and that is a resubmission through Congressman Courtney's office to the Congressional Appropriations process for a roughly $730,000 award to accomplish the site work that would be related to 65 Main. That would be the public gardens and the permaculture park that would take shape on that lower 3.2 to 3.5 acres of what is actually Riverside Park, just happens to be on the other side of the river. You know, that whole appropriations request has been up and down. It was accepted last year by Courtney, should have been in this year's budget. All of the appropriations were scrubbed from this year's budget, but then they reopened the process and prior applicants were given preference. So much as before, anything could happen. Congressman Courtney has approved the project, but it's Congress itself that has to approve the final award. So not clear what the timeline is on that. Could be any time from September 30th to March of next year, but just something that's my only current one that's out there for potential funding. So of the ones that have been funded, the Great East Thompson Trainwreck Memorial Park project is winding to a close. There's a little money left to expend in that grant, and the landscaping is the main piece that remains. There is that's essentially hydro seeding, and then there is a line of ornamental shrubs or trees that's going to go on a berm that was constructed to provide some privacy for the immediate abutting neighbors. That should be happening in early September after the worst of the heat is down. And then there's going to be a ribbon cutting event on Saturday, the 27th of September, which the Trails Committee is leading on organizing. And that'll be the whole thing. So you can see the newly constructed railroad turntable and the unearthed foundation for the depot. And of course, there's plenty of great parking there. From there, we have the big brownfield grant, which has been kicking around for pretty close to 4 years now. Due to the time elapsed and some of the complications we had to work through and inflationary pressures, we renegotiated an upward adjustment to that award. So it went from 2 million to 2.3. We are very close to the final contract. I know I've said that multiple times, but we are limited to moving at the speed of the state. In the meantime, some work has begun on that the developer is taking care of. In other words, independent of the grant. He's got a local property manager who is doing cleanup of debris from inside the mill. And that is partly to prep it for the hazardous materials, the building materials abatement, which is what the grant to us will cover. And we have a contractor, Eagle Environmental, who is doing the planning and design for the abatement and creating the bid documents so that by the time those are ready, we hope to have the contract in hand. And we are hoping to go out to bid sometime this fall for the hazmat abatement, which would be miraculous because that would mean we could actually see the activity next year. So big fingers crossed there. The next big one, which is actually the biggest of them all, is the $4 million for the reconstruction of Main Street and Swanson Park and the completion of the interior renovations for the 65 Main project. That was awarded formally in September. There's a series of documents that you have to complete with the state until they get to the contract. As of last month, all of those documents are completed and signed. So now again, it's a matter of the contract being produced for signature. But in the meantime, we are also working on finalizing the design and creating the bid documents so that by the time the contract is signed and ready, again, we should be able to go out to bid on that hopefully this fall. And again, just as a reminder, that's the full depth reconstruction of Main Street and the related sidewalks, the improvements to Oscar Swanson Veterans Park, and completing the interior renovations for 65 Main. And that's just about just over $4 million. And then the last one is one I'm working on closing out, which is the planning grant related to 65 Main. In all honesty, that was supposed to be closed out by the end of June. I've been kind of limping it along because I'm waiting for the final designs on that permaculture park to come back to me from the landscape architect and civil engineering firm. So I just touch base with USDA every once in a while to let them know that it's on the way. And then, that planning portion of that project, the deliverable was the master plan. So that having that design in hand with the bid documents for the landscape site work will complete that deliverable. And then the only other grant that's out there is one that technically we did not submit, but was submitted on our behalf by the Eastern Connecticut Conservation District. Janet Blanchette and I worked, and Joe Tasic worked with the executive director of ECCD on something called a Connecticut Deep 319 NPS grant. That's for non-point source. That has to do with stormwater management and ways to essentially use more environmentally friendly methods to infiltrate rather than the runoff going into the river. So that grant, if successful, will fund replacing about 3,000 square feet of pervious pavers at the library from where the old oil tank was taken out, sort of wrapping around the front, but stopping before it gets to the commemorative bricks, and ripping out and replacing the invasive barberry that was planted around the library. Barberry is a really noxious invasive in this area, so that would be replaced with native plantings. And then there would also be some stormwater improvements in the parking lot at Town Hall, some specially designed porous concrete panels that would be installed. So the ask on that ECCD put forward was just about $235,000. The town's match portion of that is actually labor. It would be DPW installing the pavers and panels. We could be notified about that as early as the end of September because it actually flows from the federal government through CTD, so it's tied to the federal fiscal year. My experience with federal grants is that they almost never notify on time, but I would expect that some kind of notification would come before the end of the year. So that's the grants. As usual, there's 4 or 5 committees and commissions that I work with: agriculture, economic development, mill sites redevelopment, planning and zoning, and trails. The Agriculture Commission and I have not actually meshed much this year, just due to the idiosyncrasies of their calendar and my schedule. As of the last time I attended a meeting, they were still at least ostensibly interested in coming up with strategies to do more agritourism marketing, which I very much support. And as soon as they really gel on that, I'm happy to help them in whatever way they need. EDC, now that the budget has passed, will be able to sign the contract extension with Todd Kallenbach of DKA. They are the vendor that created the new EDC website, the e-newsletter templates, and some other online assets. And the extension of the contract, they will actually do the ongoing maintenance and the posting and the refreshing of the new EDC page and the sending of the e-newsletter. And that campaign is really all around drawing in business development to that small 8% of the town where we've identified we can really do some infill of neighborhood scale commercial. MISRAC, mill sites, they mainly concern themselves with the ongoing design of the various large projects that take place in the downtown core. So, they will continue to consult on the Brownfield grant once that goes forward. They're working very actively now with the designer for the Main Street reconstruction. They are consulting with the new developer who has emerged, who is interested in building Corticelli. So they are, as we say, small but mighty. They do incredible work. A really dedicated group of volunteers that has been together for over a decade, doing very, very high level examination of and project management of stuff around trying to reclaim some of these brownfields. I can't speak highly enough of them. Planning and zoning is, of course, planning and zoning. They meet monthly and they make, land use decisions month by month. Every year, they are committed to doing sort of a review and brush up of the zoning regulations so that they never get stale. The big thing on their plate for this year is last year they adopted a 1-year moratorium on any applications for cannabis microcultivators. And so we're gonna go through those regulations and make sure that they reflect exactly how the commission wants them to operate. And then by the end of that moratorium in mid-March, hopefully they will have come to that consensus and conclusion, and they can put something better in place. And then Trails Committee, I already mentioned, their big thing is bringing the ribbon cutting event forward for the train wreck memorial, and continuing to liaise with the state and this new airline trail advocacy group. I and 2 members of the committee are a member of that advocacy group, which is meeting monthly. And that's intended to do things like push deep towards developing real meaningful maintenance agreements with the towns for the airline trail, because it's a big gray area for everyone right now. And then the last bit from the memo again is sort of the odds and ends, the outside organizations where I represent the town's interests, like the tourism district, where I'm on the grants committee. We had a meeting today, the marketing committee, and now I'm also on the nominating committee on the executive board, or not on the executive board, on the board of directors. So I represent Thompson's interests there. The Eastern Connecticut Land Bank, which is finally getting some steam now that there's been a change of leadership at NECOG. We're going to be looking at ways that the land bank can really broaden its reach into the Northeast Connecticut communities who have brownfield sites that need assessment, that they need just assistance sort of getting to understanding how to revive these properties. So that's pretty exciting. And then Connecticut Resource Conservation and Development, which is an agriculture and economic development advocacy group. I have been now for a couple of years on the Governance and Finance Council. And on their behalf, I'm actually on a panel discussion tomorrow for it's like an environmental and land use panel. So I stay active in all those. And that is pretty much what I got. Happy to, I know that was sort of a blitz, but I'm trying to be mindful of people's time, but happy to take any questions, explain anything more thoroughly, especially for, I would say Suzanne, who, you know, Ken goes to Mizrac and I see Amy every day. So I think Suzanne, this is probably the most new to you. So any questions you have are great. If anybody's talking to me, the room's on mute.
Go ahead.
No, Tara, it is a very thorough report, as Amy was saying, and I don't have any questions for you. Been aware of some of all of these grants and what you've been doing, so.
I will say that there was a question from our residents. Sally White asked, who are the dignitaries and guests that are invited to the East Thompson ribbon cutting? She says, I realize the public would be welcome, but there are likely special guests. And I thought that would be an easy question. Tara, do you have an answer for that?
I don't know that we have a final list, but there's certainly some very logical people who will be invited. The state in the form of CT Deep, because they were the grantee, the grantors. We will definitely extend invitations to all of our state, to both of our state senators and our state rep, both of our federal senators and our congressmen. We always do that. I'm just trying to think who else was partners on that. The Historical Society, of course, but they'll be actually a part of the event more than invitees. We will probably reach out to the National Park Service and Connecticut Humanities, because they have provided prior grant awards that helped us really advance the project. I'm sure that I'm forgetting something. We did discuss it at the last Trails Committee meeting, but we have a special meeting scheduled in September, I think, to finalize that invitation list. But as Sally points out, this is going to be a public event. It's going to be in the TLGV Walktober guide. So very much this is something we want people to attend.
And of course, the Board of Selectmen.
Well, of course, yes.
However, I will not be attending because my son is getting married that day. So
Oh,
I
well,
will be
that's a
at
good,
that.
that's a good reason.
Yeah,
I suppose
Kinda
that's an
sad.
excuse, Amy. I
it
mean,
is
really.
an excuse. And I'll be in Alabama for that, so. Sally, did that answer your question? I won't be here either. I'm gonna guess it did. All right, Ken, did you have any questions for Tara? You're
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right,
Thank you for the report.
thank you, Tara.
Thank you.
Sure, and I'm here for the next agenda
Okay.
item too. So if anything comes up, even in between now and then,
Excellent.
don't be shy.
Amy,
Thank-
thank you for asking.
Oh, absolutely. All right, moving on to agenda item 8, Planning and Zoning Commission. If you recall, we did send 2 parcels of property where there was a request for individuals that wanted to potentially purchase. So we sent the referral to Planning and Zoning for an 824, and we did receive the letter from Chairman Joe Perotti Brown. With that, I'm gonna tackle agenda item 8A. I'll make a motion that we move forward with the sale, the public sale of 0 Woodland Ave, map 116, block 19, lot 5 and lot 6. Make that motion.
So I'll second it for conversation purposes.
Right, that's the only reason I did that. All right, let's open the floor for discussion.
All right, they did suggest a land usage,
A deed restriction,
deed restriction on this as well.
which was run past Attorney Rich Roberts. And I should have included that in my motion, but I can adjust it after we discuss it. Just thoughts. I know that we're still waiting for planning and zoning to come back with a referral on
Yeah.
how we should handle the remaining lots. But they did at a meeting, did vote to give us the go-ahead if we just so chose to put those up for public bid.
Yeah, I have no problem with the recommendation to put it out there with the deed restriction.
Yeah.
Obviously, the town does not want to expend any funds at all in order to do this. I'm sure that probably will affect probably part of the bid, I would think.
Right.
So.
Well, what do you mean as far as expending funds for?
The town isn't gonna survey it or anything of that.
Oh, I see what you
Right,
mean.
oh, correct,
Right,
Right, that's what I'm talking,
right.
yeah.
stuff of that nature, I mean,
And that should all be put into the advertisement that,
correct.
Tara, at any point, Tara, if you have anything to share and jump in on that. I mean, the most we would spend would be the advertising.
Advertisement.
I did speak with Paul Hopkins, who is also in the meeting, pretty much for this purpose, because I was trying to get a sense for what these lots, as we know that it's like 0.08, I think.
Yeah. it's true.
The acreage is pretty small. And he thought about $1,000 to $2,000 per lot is what we should probably anticipate in the hopes of getting about 3,000. Paul, was I correct with that? That's what I had.
That would
recall.
sound reasonable.
Yeah, that's absolutely 100% correct. So the high end on those lots from the sales is about 3,000. Typically, they go for $2,000 per 0.08.
So, I mean, we could say a minimum bid of,
Right. If you wanted to start it at 1,000, that would be a reasonable low offer. And then in the hopes that, market value would be around 2,000 with a high end value of that $3,000 mark per 0.08.
yeah. For these two lots, they're pretty invaluable to anybody but Mr. Jezerski, I would think.
Or whoever it was.
or whoever, I don't
Right.
think any does.
Yeah,
Right.
there's
The
nobody
only-
else abutting either one of those. It's only Jezerski or the remainder of the
The
town-owned
town
lots.
which when you move into those lots, they're pretty much wetlands.
Yeah, and the town isn't, what's the best way to say it? Town does not need to sell.
Right,
No,
That could be
no,
just
I mean, it could be,
with the report that's gonna be coming back from P and Z for the, I'm gonna assume the conservation of the rest of it,
mhm.
which was pretty much some of the conversation. And based on the terrain,
What is
et cetera.
Mr. Jezerski's first name?
John.
John.
If I recall the planning and zoning commission meeting, they were recommending, or when they were talking about the rest of the lots, one of the members had said there were a few lots they thought could be viable for sale, and then there were other lots that they thought shouldn't be sold. And I think that encompassed the majority of the lots that are owned by the town.
Yeah, there was maybe a couple.
With a
Yeah,
hand-
I can jump in on that. There were
Yeah.
there's a total of, I want to say off the top of my head, 127 lots. Of those 127, except for these two, there were 6 lots identified by the Planning and Zoning Commission in a subcommittee meeting, which they would consider could be put up for sale. And one of the reasons you guys don't have the policy yet is because they haven't established, essentially it was a choice between 3 lots or 6 lots, and there's a rationale and a thought process they're going through there. But in general, the commission thinks that these properties are more valuable to be conserved. It's just that these 3 to 6 lots, they're surrounded by private properties, they're unbuildable on their own, and they don't have like wetlands constraints. So that small number, and again, it's just a matter of whether it's all 6 of them or only 3 of them, that they would recommend in a general policy to go out to bid.
But they gave us the answers to what we requested of them on these 2 pieces.
On these
of
2
property.
pieces,
Yeah.
correct.
Correct,
Correct.
that one is resolved. That's why the chairman sent over the letter with the referral.
I mean, I would actually like to revise my motion
Well.
to say the sale with the deed restrictions as presented. So can I
I-
revise?
I think she seconded it.
Are you gonna second the revision?
Yes, oh,
okay,
absolutely.
Okay. Um. So, any other thoughts?
No?
Okay.
I thank P and Z for doing the job they did.
Yes,
They're being very thorough.
yes.
For sure. All right, with that, take it to a vote and see where this lands.
Aye.
Ken says aye,
Aye.
and I say aye. All right, that motion passes. We'll get together. What I'll do is, when I put together the ad with Marie,
Hmm,
I'll run it past Rich Roberts, Attorney Roberts, and I'll send it to both of you.
that would be good.
All right. Second parcel. So same thing. The Planning and Zoning Commission sent us their recommendation. They were fine with the sale. They also added the deed restrictions. This is where it's going to become more of a topic of discussion, because I'm going to make a motion that we move forward with the sale of 09 House Road, but minus the deed restrictions. A second. For discussion purposes.
Okay, for discussion purposes, I will second it.
Okay, and I want to explain my thought process with this. And put a lot of thought into it. And I understand it's 2 acres. So it's 2 acres, flat prime land. Valued, and I spoke with Paul on this, valued potentially if it was listed at upwards of $120,000. This land was deeded to the town, not for conservation purposes. In fact, we don't know, but it was back in 1981. The woman's first name was Bessie, and I don't remember her last name. If Paul remembers it, he can let me know. but a woman by the name of Bessie something deeded it to the town. There's no real knowledge as to why, whether it was because there were no heirs that wanted the land or whatever. But being in the situation that the town is in, I would have a really difficult time putting a piece of property up for auction where we might get $5,000 or $6,000 for it, when it's technically valued at closer, we could probably sell it for 80 or 90,000. After everything we've been through this budget cycle, it would be an extreme disservice to the town to not,
Why did they put the deed restriction on it?
because Mr. Cordes had asked for that.
Okay.
Well, let me clarify that a little
To a
bit.
certain degree.
Yeah,
Because I was thinking the same way until I started really putting thought into how we would be hurting the town. But
Yeah,
go
and-
ahead, Sarah, what were you gonna say? Because you know the context better than I do.
yeah, just because this was at their most recent meeting as well, so it's still pretty fresh.
Right.
So I would say that the commission in general was more sympathetic to to approving the 824 referral when the idea was that the land would be conserved, which of course is what Mr. Cordes was presenting as his purpose for wanting to purchase the land. And what I said in that meeting was, you need to understand that the referral is just for the property to go out to sale. It's not to sell to an individual person. And what I had suggested to the commission was, if they were sympathetic to the idea that this would be conserved and not developed, then my recommendation would be for them to attach the same deed restriction. And I can't say for certain whether they would have voted to release it for bid or not without the deed restriction, but I certainly think that that was more in keeping with where their discussion was headed. Personally, I'm somewhat agnostic about it. I see the value to both arguments very much. But as Amy points out, it is a 2-acre parcel. I do think there's a lot of wetlands constraints on it. So I was actually under the impression that it wasn't super buildable, but I think Paul has since determined for Amy that it is. So that's sort of the best I can do to get you into their heads at the moment.
And
If I
under,
could,
yep, go ahead, Paul.
yeah, if I could, yeah, just quickly. So what it is if you look at the total dimensions and you map out where the wetlands area is for this specific parcel, it actually becomes subdividable, in my opinion. So a potential buyer could actually get 2 lots from this, as opposed to just even a single lot. There's enough space in that RRAD district to potentially cut 2 lots to make it even more profitable for someone outside of the conservation idea.
Thank you, Paul. So I mean, in my mind, if we not to go against planning and zoning, or to be completely forthright with them, maybe we wouldn't sell it at all.
Well, I was
And
wondering
then
if
send
this
it
should be
back.
sent back to planning and zoning
And
to
say,
have them
"Hey,
review
look
it
at
as
this
a marketable, market rate.
And would they still,
And would they still
give
have
us
the same,
approval.
right?
if that's what we wanted
Well,
to
they do
do?
have a meeting coming up on Monday,
Right,
so if it's not a bad idea to send it back.
Yeah.
Same thing, pose the question to Rich Roberts. Are we mandated to do the,
I already did, and we're not,
and we're not.
Okay. So in fact, we could override, even if they had said, don't sell it.
We
could
have the
override that.
authority to override it.
In
yeah.
the best interest of the town.
And prime land, buildable, fairness to the town,
Yeah,
it's income coming in.
Right.
yeah.
That's
I
really
mean,
hard to say. It wasn't put into conservation.
And whoever decides, if it goes out to bid, whoever the winner is, can elect to put it into conservation themselves.
Right,
Yes.
right. And Paul had suggested that the sale be a minimum bid of 50 with the thought process that we might get 80 or 90. Because again, that 120, you do have to factor in the wetlands. He thinks you can work around that as a developer or a builder. But,
But that would be anybody doing their due
Right.
diligence, researching the property.
right.
So may I just
and
interject a
if-
question?
Yep, I think both you and Paul want to say something. Terry, you go first.
Yeah, I just, I'm just listening to you guys discussing, kicking it back to the commission. But you already know that you have the power to override. I don't know what you gain by doing it, I guess is the question, although certainly you may do so.
I would like their opinion as to whether they would still recommend a sale if they knew it was not going to have the restrictions on it. I
Right.
would really like to have that,
Because otherwise
come
I
from
feel
that,
like it's.
because maybe they would disagree, with that.
Right.
I just think it's valuable information.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair
it's
enough. I
a-
just wanted to understand the purpose of it going back, because they're gonna ask me. So,
Right.
It's only gonna go back until the 2nd, which is our next meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul, what were you gonna say?
So, and I was going to talk just quickly about the impact. So if someone does subdivide this, the typical sale in town right now for a 1 acre lot that has a 1,200 square foot, say, raised ranch going on it, is about $500,000. So there's the potential for there's to be, really serious
Yeah.
revenue.
Right,
Good point.
agreed. Thank you, Paul.
And that benefits the town.
And
And
since I've kind of thrown this curveball at us, I think taking the time not only to send it back to planning and zoning, but for all of us to put some time thinking about it.
Agreed.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of surrounded by houses.
it's only gonna delay it a couple of weeks.
Right. Okay. So I will withdraw my motion.
You want to do that or you want to vote on it? Or if we vote on it,
Yeah, but then,
if you vote on it, then it doesn't have to go back to the commission.
right, I don't
Right.
think we should vote on it. I'm just
okay,
gonna
I'll withdraw my second.
Okay. All right. Very good. We will move on.
So no action.
No action taken this
Peddling
time.
and soliciting.
All right.
Other than the recommendation to send it back.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Laureen, you'll make note of that. All right, so this is a dead in the water. This is something I had put on. But I wanted to fill you both in on a situation with the door-to-door sales. We've received multiple calls of recent
Mhm.
time. Most recently, Frontier Communications had contracted a marketing company. And that was going door to door on behalf of Frontier Communications. And we caught them. Then I started thinking, because we received so many calls about it, about these people that clearly didn't have identification, they seemed sketchy, they were very aggressive. It got me thinking, why can't the town prohibit door-to-door sales? And I did a little research, and we can't prohibit door-to-door sales. We can only regulate door-to-door sales. So I had asked Marie to put this on the agenda, but since then I found out that we can't. It is regulated. We do go through a process. There's approximately, well, right now there's only one permit that's out there, and it's for Trinity Solar, I think, one individual. But just so that the board knows, it's $20 for an application. Whoever applies to do door-to-door sales, they're responsible to do their own and pay for their own background checks, which are reported to Marie. And then each person that gets a permit, there's a photo of the person in the town clerk's office, and it's $100 per licensee. And it lasts a year, so January to December. So if someone were to come and apply today, it would be expired December 31st. So that being said, there's also a fine in place if someone does not follow the ordinance. And in the fee and fine schedule, it says $50 to $100 per incident.
That's not that's not the challenge. The challenge is enforcement.
Exactly.
Mhm.
But I've got information from one of our residents, Jeff Berline, had come in. He actually has, evidence. I reached out to Frontier. I am thinking that it's appropriate to fine Frontier for there's at least 3 reports that are documented. I mean, it's $300, but
That are
And I-
documented that they were soliciting and they have never applied for a permit.
correct. And they've since taken the people out of Thompson, but to me, the damage was done. It's not
They were at my
significant.
house too.
Oh, were they at your house
They
too?
were at my house. They
Frontier.
talked to Logan, yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
on
Well,
Quinn.
you can attempt to do it,
I can.
may not go anywhere, but
But if the board is in agreement, I mean,
I
that's
would be
the-
in agreement
it's
that
in our
you have
ordinance and
3
law.
have the dir-
documented cases
I
that you
have-
can prove
and I have
that they were
Frontier's
soliciting.
emails admitting that
they
there
were
was a company.
soliciting it, okay.
So,
we're moving forward to trying to enforce it is the biggest issue.
right. Last year, we had 10 permits that were taken out, between Renewal by Anderson and, Trinity Solar.
Hmm.
So this year, there's just 1, so. But that was,
I
that
mean,
was,
we have that mechanism in place for a reason, so we should exercise it, I think, and find them.
Right,
okay. I will let you know how that
I would be
goes.
interested in knowing.
All right, agenda item 10 is off the table. Joe Tasic had come to me. So we're not gonna take any action on that because Joe had come to me last week and said, hey, we really should review the transfer station bulky waste fee after putting some thought into it. He didn't have enough data put together to present anything tonight. And after the increase in fees, he changed his mind and decided it probably wasn't a best time to mess with that. He would do a thorough review come next year and, so we don't have to address that to it at this point.
Regarding the transfer station, maybe perhaps it doesn't come under here, and I should have brought it up under selectmen comments, so. There was a comment made at one of our meetings about possibly having a line item for the fees and any overage that was collected, so that it would stay, I would like to add that to a future agenda.
Okay,
So
and
that we could have a better definition of what that would look like and possibly.
Bill Steglitz and I spoke with that and we thought there might be some obstacles, but we'll do a little bit more digging together and maybe I'll put it on the September 2nd
That would be good.
selectmen meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I
I
was
mean,
fascinated by that, but then we thought there might be some obstacles to it.
I mean, we have time because none of that goes into effect until November.
Right.
Yeah, and I'd like to do a deep dive into that and to have some more information. That would be good.
All right, agenda item 11. New hire building office administrative assistant. So we had hired a previous individual that did not work out. Ms. Bentley was interviewed back with the last round. She was at the top of the list as well. And John Noley really wanted to give her an opportunity. She is very interested in the position and would be willing to start September 2nd. The office is really lacking. John's doing kind of double duty. He's doing the admin work and doing his building official duties.
Which is not fair to him.
No. So with the board's approval, we would like to hire this
I'll
individual.
make a motion that we hire Tina Bentley.
Bentley. And I'll second that.
All right, any discussion about this?
I've known
candidate?
Tina for many, many years,
No, I
and
saw her
I think
resume.
she would be a good candidate. Yep.
All right.
Yeah, she's actually from town. Her
Yes.
family's from town. They just moved away for a short sabbatical, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yep. Excellent. All right, all in favor of approving the new hire of Tina Bentley for the building office administrative assistant, say aye. Aye. All right. I'll make a motion for agenda item 12 that we appoint Greg A. Corso to serve as a full-fledged member. He was an alternate. He's gonna move up into the full-fledged member of the Inlands Wetlands Commission. to fill the unexpired term of George O'Neill III with the term ending March 15th, 2027. I'll make that motion.
Second,
Any discussion on this advancement from an alternate to a full-fledged member?
Nope.
Okay, all in favor of approving the appointment of Greg A. Corso, say aye.
I,
aye.
Aye. I'm sorry, I've got a terrible tickle in my throat tonight. So rude. Any other business to bring before the board tonight?
I have nothing.
Right, and with that, we're back to citizen comments. We will start with the Zoom audience. Any citizen comments tonight? Please feel free to unmute, state your name and address for the record. Citizen comments. All right, moving to the room. Any citizen comments tonight? It's a quiet night.
wow.
All right, with that, we will move to tax refunds. I'll make a motion that we approve the following tax refunds, both for Charles W. Sargent. $168.66 and $156 for a total of $324.66. Make that motion. Suzanne has the second. Any discussion? All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to adjourn.
second.
Ken has the motion to adjourn. Suzanne has the second. It is 7:51 PM. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
I.
Aye. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you. Good night.